News at 7 is broadcast live from Abuja. I am Comfort Amodu. Let's get started with the headlines. Flat cuts of international highways in Kebbi State dislocate thousands of communities in 5 local government areas. Federal government works out modalities to cushion effects of COVID-19 and other variables of food security. Global Amnesty Watch and civil society organizations commend Nigerian army for restoring peace in northeastern Nigeria. Now, federal government is working out modalities to assist rural farmers with affordable vehicles through cooperative groups to cushion the effect of COVID-19 pandemic in the country and other variables on food security. The Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs is leading the new initiative and has held an interministerial meeting to that effect. Details with Mitairi Ikben.
Access to markets, especially cost of transportation, is said to be taking a toll on the price of foodstuff and the income of farmers. Now, the federal government, through the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, is introducing a program that will mitigate difficulties encountered by rural farmers and other SME groups as part of the efforts to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. In collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the private sector, thousands of buses under a hire purchase arrangement are to be rolled out.
The whole essence here is to ensure that our rural folks have access to decent transportation facility. And now that there is a slight adjustment of the price of oil, PMS, we do recognize some Shylock businessmen who decide to take advantage. So once this is realized, we believe it will do quite a lot to stabilize the price system for the benefit of our people.
The project is to be launched by President Buhari as soon as modalities have been put in place. In Abuja, Mitairi Ikben, NTA News.
Major highways linking Nigeria, Niger and Benin republics through Kebbi State have been shut down for a while as part of roads that were submerged by flood. The flood water has continued to build upon in the state, dislocating communities in Argungu, Bargudo, Jega, Suru and Dadin local government areas. General Hospital in Bagudo has also been shut down as flood sacked both patients and caregivers. All primary schools in Argungu local government area have been allocated to families displaced by the ravaging flood. And this is coming as President Muhammadu Buhari sent a delegation to sympathize with the government and the people of the state. The delegation is headed by Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Sabo Nanuno. Now, with continuous rise in water level of the river Niger, residents of coastal communities in Anambra State said they are very much at alert. Uchenna Nwokoye reports.
Some parts of Onitsha and Obaro local government areas are within the flood-prone areas. Aside the preparations of the state government, residents and traders within the coastal areas of the River Niger said they are closely monitoring the situation. Part of their preparations include evacuation of farm produce.
We are preparing, so even midnight and all the time we are preparing. Anytime the flood disturbs us, so we can beg anywhere we can stay.
I just pack some sand and cover where water will flow and enter my house. So I don't have any money to go rent another house.
For the people trading in markets near the river bank, the flood is a yearly experience that has become part of them.
There are some people that have shops there. Now it is covered with water, with flood. But we do provide for them where to trade when such a thing occurs. I would like government to assist us mostly on this life jacket.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency had predicted flooding occasioned by heavy rainfall within the riverine communities. In Onitsha, Uchenna Nwekoyo, NTA News.
And some communities living within the flood-prone areas in Delta State have been placed on alert of an impending flooding as predicted by NIMET. Against this backdrop, Thelma Eliogu examines measures put in place by Delta State government to ensure safety of lives and means of livelihood of the people.
Ever since NIMET alerted the country of impending flood in coastal states, there has been trepidation in residents of flood-prone areas in Delta State. This is arising from their experiences in the 2012 and 2019 perennial flooding, which destroyed homes, farmlands, and other sources of livelihood. Some of the victims are yet to fully recover from the after effect.
As you hear say fraud, they come again, everybody they fear. Because you remember what happened 2012 and 2019. It's not easy for us. So we beg God, may fraud not come again. Even if it's coming, let government help us.
During this time, some will go and stay in somebody's house to allow the flood to calm down before coming back to the house.
Many people are afraid of the flood that is coming this year again. So we are begging on the government, they should try to help them.
The state government, taking cognizance of the devastation of flooding in 19 local government areas of the state, say it is putting up preemptive measures to mitigate the challenge.
We needed to clean up the channels, all of the tributaries to River Niger. We have successfully done the dredging, or if you like, the deseating of the Anwa River. We have also successfully done the deseating of the Yabi River. Orogodo River have also done the deseating of Orogodo River in Agbo. If you look around Asaba, for instance, you would have noticed that all of the internal drains are being opened up. We are cleaning them up. We have also done that in Sapele.
However, the state is not building IDP camps due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The COVID is here, and so you cannot afford to go and gather people in one place called IDP camp, and you are preventing them from suffering from the effect of the flood, and then you now go and put them in a place where they now go and either contract the virus or you worsen their health situation, which is why we have been carrying out sensitization, and we made it very, very clear that people should move upland and as much as possible take some form of personal responsibility, while as a government we will also take certain actions to meet them halfway.
Meanwhile, citizens, especially farmers, are appealing for assistance to harvest their crops quickly before the flood takes over their farmlands. In Asaba, Thelma Eliog, NTA News.
And in Yobe State, the government is now diverting its attention to developing the resilience of returnees and other vulnerable groups across the state through its emergency food support initiative to ameliorate hardships induced by insecurity, COVID-19 pandemic and flood disaster. Under the new drive, the State Emergency Management Agency is distributing assorted food items across 178 political wards in 17 council areas of the state. Details with Yunusa Suleiman.
Enhancing the livelihoods of thousands of returnees is one catalyst that the Yobe State government, under its Emergency Food Support Initiative, is using to build the resilience of the returnees and liberated communities across the state. Under this goal-oriented drive, more than 600 returnees in Bunyadi have benefited from the gesture, where each beneficiary went home with some food items and other condiments as a way of encouraging them to put the pieces together.
So we are appreciating the federal government of Nigeria and even the Governor Maimala Buni for his concern concerning the people of Bunyadi, for the relief materials that he have given to the people.
The ongoing food distribution exercise is also targeting 150 vulnerable households in each ward of the state to ameliorate their sufferings in this trying moment that is characterized by the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and flood disaster across the 17 local government areas of the state.
Going Memorial Bunyadi is one of the communities that's affected by insurgency. Boko Haram stayed in Bunyadi for over 2 years. People have now returned to Bunyadi. So in trying to build the resilience of people, one thing you will do is to ensure that you support them so that they will feel encouraged and stay in the community.
The state government, through SEMA, has in many occasions said that these and many other interventions are part of its reconstruction, resettlement, and rehabilitation drive. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
And now the suspended Oxford University coronavirus vaccine trials is set to resume as more than 28.5 million people around the world are diagnosed with coronavirus, according to Johns Hopkins University. Uche Ugochukwu is standing by with more on the coronavirus pandemic update.
Nigeria's coronavirus cases now stands at 56,017 with 43,998 recoveries. The country's Center for Disease Control confirmed 188 new cases from 18 states and the Federal Capital Territory. These and figures from other countries on the African continent put its tally at 1,345,659. Outside Africa, the Oxford University coronavirus vaccine trials that was halted after an unexplained illness in one of its volunteers is set to resume. In a statement Saturday, the university explained that in large trials as this, it is expected that some participants become unwell, but that every case must be carefully evaluated to ensure careful assessment of safety. In the U.S., contact tracing data from 3 childcare facilities indicates that children with mild or no symptoms can spread COVID-19. Meanwhile, a group forecast by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention projects that there will be up to 217,000 COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. by October 3. In another development, India reported another new highest daily increase Saturday with 97,570 new infections, and the United Arab Emirates recorded 1,007 new cases, which is the highest daily number of infections reported in the country since the beginning of the pandemic. Now, the global tally on Worldometer coronavirus dashboard as at 6:30 p.m. local time is 28,752,231, 921,441 deaths, and 20,656,120 recoveries. That's it from here. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
And the co-chair of Bill Gates Foundation, Aliko Dangote, and other development partners have commended Nigerians' proactive response towards flattening the curve of coronavirus pandemic and sustaining the laudable gains of polio eradication. He made the remarks during the 2020 primary health care review meeting between the officials of Kaduna State Government and development partners that was held virtually at the Government House, Kaduna. Mohammed Umar Ajingi brings us the rest of the details.
This time around, the annual review meeting to take stock of achievements and challenges faced in the year on the quality of healthcare services rendered to especially pregnant women and children was attended by almost all the relevant stakeholders from within and outside Nigeria. Some of the major partners such as Bill Gates, head of Global Fund Maria Ikroa, participated virtually from their respective countries, while the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehaneri, Emir of Zazzau, Chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum Kaide Fahimi, and Aliko Dangote also joined from their respective locations within Nigeria.
This is crucial to ensure continued delivery of primary healthcare services. Our new realities teach us to consider other sustainable options to drive coordinated, not just for the period of the pandemic, but beyond.
Despite the impact of COVID-19 in all over Nigeria, I am encouraged by the efforts of Kaduna State.
The participants lauded the quick response and adequate measures taken to protect citizens from coronavirus, as well as effort made in eradicating polio out of the health space of the country.
Your Excellency, Your Royal Highness, Honorable Commission, Kaduna's entire health team and its many partners Congratulations.
Governor Rufai enumerated the gains made generally in improving on healthcare services in the areas of providing more infrastructure, equipment, and manpower.
The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the fragility of our public health system. We are using the opportunity of this pandemic and the extra resources we are getting as support from donors to strengthen our healthcare system as a whole and prepare for the next pandemic by the grace of God.
The stakeholders' engagement ended with new resolve and commitment from the development partners to bring in more support to Nigeria. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Jingi, NTA News.
Many thanks, and News at 7 is broadcast live from our studios in Abuja. We have more reports in a moment. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying tuned with the news at 7. And now the Nigerian military has been commended for restoring peace and normalcy in the northeast region of the country, which over the years was bedeviled by Boko Haram insurgency. Global Amnesty Watch, in collaboration with Civil Society Organization of Nigeria, gave the commendation at the end of a post-Boko Haram assessment tour of the northeast. Simon Asha tells us more.
All our members in these states to see for themselves.
Over the years, the devastating effect of Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast region of the country resulted in destructions of lives and property, with displaced people in search of a living. The narrative has speedily changed, with the intervention of Nigerian armed forces, restoring peace and hope to the affected communities, as people now go about their socio-economic activities devoid of any fear of the unknown.
We have actually achieved a major breakthrough when it comes to the issue of insurgency in other states. Our hope is that these things have come to stay.
The success story necessitated the post-Boko Haram Peace Assessment Tour by the Global Amnesty Watch in conjunction with Civil Society Organization of Nigeria, the Northeast, to see for themselves the peaceful situation of the people and the impact of the military in restoring peace, security, law and order in the affected communities.
Here is my report. The military have recaptured all the government councils in the state, hitherto taken by the insurgents, and freed all captives, and the state has remained peaceful till date, while law and order have been restored. Peace have returned to the northeast region, most especially Adamawa State.
In Yola, Simon Asha, NTA News.
And elsewhere in Taraba State, Chief of Defense Staff General Gabriel Oloni Shakin has inaugurated rather 5 hand pump boreholes in 5 communities of the state and sunk by the Department of Civil Military Cooperation under his purview. Charles Abba reports that the Chief of Defense Staff was represented by Rear Admiral Abdul Adamu.
Over time, military operations like that of the 4 Special Forces Command, the Nigerian Air Force, and the Operation Wellstroke, which covers Benue, Taraba, and Nasarawa states, continue to use the kinetic approach to quell security challenges in various communities. The Chief of Defense Staff, represented by Rear Admiral Abdul Adamu, said the sinking of boreholes in the communities could yield more sustainable peace.
This project, which we call as Quick Impact Project, is just one of the ways to pay back those peaceful communities to sustain the peace.
2 of the boreholes were sited at Wukari New Site and Rafin Kada in Wukari Local Government Area, 1 at Akate in Donga Local Government Area, and 2 others in Takum and Chachanji communities of Takum Local Government Area, which are areas that embraced the peace initiated by Operation Wellstroke.
We believe that by giving them what they really require, it will go a long way to find the peace which is now existing in southern Taraba.
Taraba State Governor, represented by his Special Advisor on Security, Colonel Wunuken Angio, retired, and Benefiting Council Chairman, acknowledged the efforts of Operation Wellstroke in restoring peace to the communities and thanked the Chief of Defense Staff for making life more meaningful for the people through the provision of water. Before now, Wukari, Akate and Takum roads were dreaded due to activities of armed bandits. From Takum, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And Charles Abba also report that Benue State Expanded Security Council has met with stakeholders of Sankira Access and resolved to give peace a chance following the incident that resulted in the death of Ghana and the arrest of 40 others white security operatives early this week. Governor Samuel Otom, who chaired the meeting, said the state government will continue to work with the security agencies. And the Tortif, Professor James Ayase, also attended the meeting.
The Benue State Expanded Security Council meeting with traditional rulers and local government council chairmen of Logo, Ukum and Kasinala local government areas that make up the Sankara extraction of the state was informed by the killing of Tewas Agwaza, alias Ghana, and the arrest of 40 of his alleged accomplices by security personnel, which created panic in the various communities. Governor Samuel Otom said it is to avoid further anxieties and to dissuade people from taking laws into their hands that the forum unanimously resolved to tread the path of peace. The governor said that in spite of the situation, the meeting agreed to continually work with security agencies, but requested that the boys held by the military be released to go through civil processes.
The other thing is all items that were confiscated, we are also appealing to the military to return them. Some of those vehicles were hired, some of them are official vehicles to our government officials, and some other things were documents. So we appeal that all this be returned to us.
Governor Otom reiterated that while the 42 youths who have been granted amnesty are being profiled to undergo skills acquisition program, the door of amnesty is still open for others in the state. He urged security formations to beef up surveillance and intelligence to effectively handle the challenges of insecurity. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Now, youth in Nigeria advocating a robust national leadership reorientation for a better Nigeria. The current All Progressives Congress government led by President Muhammadu Buhari and its policies of all-round development with special attention on infrastructural development across the country. The youth believe requires genuine efforts and plans for sustainability. The political movement group with youth cutting across the 6 geopolitical zones are also championing a call for a peaceful and purposeful political environment that will always produce leadership, leaders with development vision like President Muhammadu Buhari.
Emulate what he is doing, make a movement so that there will be one unified Nigeria with peace and stability, so that by the next time the youth will take over Nigeria on leadership and follow exactly what he has been doing. We want a unified, peaceful country.
You can see here that people of different tribes and nationalities, and that is the purpose of a Nigerian. It's not a tribal issue, it's not a religious issue, it's just celebrating the politics of our leader.
They agreed that youths in Nigeria are the major beneficiaries of the Buhari-led administration through peaceful, impactful programs. And the Minister of Sport